Bienvenidos al español para CSEC. Welcome to Spanish for CSEC. This is the first video on this channel and I hope you guys learn and enjoy. Hoy nos enfocaremos en tres verbos irregulares. Today we will focus on three irregular verbs. Los verbos son, the verbs are hacer, ser y decir. Veamos las conjugaciones. Let's see the conjugations. Vamos a ver cómo conjugar los verbos en estos tiempos verbales. We are going to see how to conjugate the verbs in these verb tenses. These are all the verb tenses that are on the syllabus, right? That's all you need to know. Conjugaciones del verbo hacer. Present. Yo hago, tú haces, él, ella hace, nosotros, nosotras hacemos, ellos, ellas hacen. Present continuous. Yo estoy haciendo, tú estás haciendo, él, ella está haciendo, nosotros, nosotras estamos haciendo, ellos, ellas están haciendo. Future. Yo haré, tú harás, él, ella hará, nosotros, nosotras haremos, ellos, ellas harán. I would like to point out that to make the future tense, all you need to do is remove the C and E from the verb hacer and you'll get are, and then you just add the normal endings for the future tense. And for the present tense, of course, you just add the gerund after conjugating the verb estar in the present tense. Past tense. Yo hice, tú hiciste, él, ella hizo, nosotros, nosotras hicimos, ellos, ellas hicieron. Past continuous. Yo estaba haciendo, tú estabas haciendo, él, ella estaba haciendo, nosotras, nosotras estábamos haciendo, estábamos haciendo. I just want you to know the accent over the A here. That is the only conjugation of the verb estar in the imperfect tense that has an accent, okay? Ellos, ellas estaban haciendo. Conditional. Yo haría, tú harías, él, ella haría, nosotros, nosotras haríamos, ellos, ellas harían. To form the conditional tense, it's the same as to form the future tense. You take hacer and you remove CE and you get R, and then you add the endings for the conditional tense. Just remember there's always this accent over the I in the conditional tense. Present perfect. Yo he hecho, tú has hecho, él, ella ha hecho, nosotros, nosotras hemos hecho, ellos, ellas han hecho. To form a present perfect tense, you take the verb haber, H-A-B-E-R, haber, and you conjugate that verb, which is also an irregular verb, into the present tense. Then after that, you take the past participle of whatever verb you like, in this case hacer, and then you put it after the present tense form of the verb haber, so he hecho. You have the present tense form of the verb haber and you have the past participle of the verb hacer. Alright? Imperfect. Yo hacía, tú hacías, él, ella hacía, nosotros, nosotras hacíamos, ellos, ellas hacían. To form imperfect tense, just remember that there's always this accent over the I here, and it's a little bit similar to the conditional tense, but instead of R you have C, and it's pretty much the same after that. Pluperfect. Yo había hecho, tú habías hecho, él, ella había hecho, nosotros, nosotras habíamos hecho, ellos, ellas habían hecho. Alright, so to form pluperfect tense, it's similar to forming the present perfect tense here, but instead of taking the present form of the verb haber, you take the imperfect form of the verb haber and you conjugate that, and then you put the past participle after the imperfect conjugation of the verb haber, okay? Present subjunctive. Haga, hagas, haga, hagamos, hagan. To form the present subjunctive, you take the first person present tense of what verb you are interested in, and you drop the O ending from it, and then you are left with this stem. In this case, it's H-A-G, hag. Well, in Spanish, it's pronounced ag. You ignore the H in your pronunciation. And then you add whichever ending you need, right? And so if you want to form the first person form of the present subjunctive for hacer, you you drop the O from ago and then you add an A, so aga. Imperfect subjunctive, hiciera, hicieras, hiciera, hiciéramos, hicieran. This is also similar to the present subjunctive, but you take the third person plural, so like ellos, ellas, hicieron, and you drop the on and you get hicier. Then you add whichever ending of the imperfect subjunctive you are interested in, and you will get your conjugation. So for example, tú hicieras, hicier. From hicieron, you drop the on, you get hicier, you add as, and then you get hicieras, tú hicieras, right? Also, just keep in mind, whenever you see éramos or éramos, E-R-A-M-O-S or E-R-E-M-O-S, there's always going to be this accent over the first T, okay? Imperative. This is just imperative or command tense. So if you ask someone to do something, this is what you're gonna tell them. So if you're telling your friend to do something, you say as. Ignore the H when you pronounce it, just as. So if you want your friend to do something, you say hazlo. Let me write that down. H-A-C-L-O. Lo means it in Spanish, right? It. So if you say do it, hazlo. Haga. So if like you're talking to someone like your parent or a police officer, teacher, whatever, you're gonna tell them haga if you wanna command them, right? So for example, if he has like a police officer, he doesn't want to do his job, he's scared to, go and fight this bandit, you will tell him hágalo, hágalo. Let me also write that down. H. This is an H, by the way. I just wrote it really badly. Difficult to write with a pencil. Well, with a mouse, I mean. I hope you could understand that. Yeah, so lo means it, right? So just it's aga lo, do it. If you're talking to like a police officer, teacher, whatever, just tell them aga. Hagamos. This means let us do something. So hagamos una torta. Let's make a cake. So you see, if you want to tell your friends you want to make a cake with them, you just say hagamos una torta. Let's make a cake. Simple, right? Then we got hagan. When you're telling a group of people to do something, you tell them hagan. Ahora veamos las conjugaciones del verbo ser. Now let's see the conjugations of the verb ser. Present. Yo soy. Tú eres. Él, ella es. Nosotros, nosotras somos. Ellos, ellas son. Present continuous. Yo estoy siendo, tú estás siendo, él, ella está siendo, nosotros, nosotras estamos siendo, ellos, ellas están siendo. Future. Yo seré, tú serás, él, ella será, nosotros, nosotras seremos, ellos, ellas serán. So for ser, you just take the infinitive form of the verb and you add the endings for the future tense, and that's how you get the future tense for the verb ser. Past tense. Yo fui, tú fuiste, él, ella fue, nosotros, nosotras fuimos, ellos, ellas fueron. So for the past tense of the verb ser, it's completely irregular. You just have to memorize it. But just know that there's always a F and a U at the beginning of each of the past tense conjugations. Past continuous. Yo estaba siendo, tú estabas siendo, él, ella estaba siendo, nosotros, nosotras estábamos siendo, ellos, ellas estaban siendo. Just remember this accent over the A here. And yeah, all you have to do with this tense is just conjugate the verb estar in its imperfect form, and you add the gerund siendo after that. Conditional. Yo sería, tú serías, él, ella sería, nosotros, nosotras seríamos, ellos, ellas serían. To form conditional, again, you just take the infinitive form of the verb you want to turn into the conditional, and you put the endings for the conditional tense as you can see here. Present perfect. Yo he sido, tú has sido, él, ella ha sido, nosotros, nosotras hemos sido, ellos, ellas han sido. Imperfect. Yo era, tú eras, él, ella era, nosotros, nosotras éramos, ellos, ellas eran. So this tense is also pretty different from ser. This pretty irregular here. But it's pretty easy to remember, just the word era. And also remember, whenever you see éramos or éramos, you just put an accent over the first E. Pluperfect. Yo había sido, tú habías sido, él, ella había sido, nosotros, nosotras habíamos sido, ellos, ellas habían sido. So, again, I'm going to repeat myself. Whenever you want to make the present perfect or the pluperfect tense, for the present perfect, you take the present form of the verb haber and you conjugate that, and then you put the past participle in front of it. But for the pluperfect tense, you put the imperfect form of the verb haber, then you put the past participle. Present subjunctive. Sea, seas, sea, seamos, sean. This one is easy to remember. Just remember the word see, but it's pronounced in Spanish sea. Sea, sea, seamos, sea, seamos, sean. Imperfect subjunctive. Fuera, fueras, fuera, 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 fuéramos, fueran. Again, look at that accent over the E for éramos. Also, if you see éramos, again, I'm going to repeat myself, always an accent over the E here, or an accent over the E when you see éramos as well. And also you can see that how you conjugate the verb into the imperfect subjunctive. You take the third person plural form of the verb, fueron, and you remove the O and the N, and then you just put an A or as, a, amos, an, and you will get your conjugation. Imperative, sé, tú. Sé, like if you tell somebody to be strong, sé fuerte, sé fuerte. But if you're talking to like a teacher or something, you use sea, sea fuerte, sea fuerte. The subjunctive tense. Seamos, let us be. Seamos amigos, let's be friends. Seamos amigos. So it's the present subjunctive form of the verb of we are, seamos. Sean, the third person plural form of ser in the subjunctive, sean. And like if you tell a group of people to be strong too, like sean fuertes, all right, you're gonna have to put the plural form of the adjective, which is fuerte, fuertes, sean fuertes. Conjugaciones del verbo decir. Present. Yo digo, tú dices, él, ella dice, nosotros, nosotras decimos, ellos, ellas dicieron. Present continuous. Yo estoy diciendo, tú estás diciendo, él, ella está diciendo, nosotros, nosotras estamos diciendo, ellos, ellas están diciendo. I would like to point out that there's always an accent over the A, but in estamos there's no accent over the E. Future. Yo diré, tú dirás, él, ella dirá, nosotros, nosotras diremos, ellos, ellas dirán. Again, this is similar to hacer when forming the future tense. You remove the C and the E, and you change the stem and you add the endings for the future tense afterwards. Past tense. Yo dije, tú dijiste, él, ella dijo, nosotros, nosotras dijimos, ellos, ellas dijeron. This one is quite irregular, so I encourage you to just pause and try to memorize these conjugations. Past continuous. Yo estaba diciendo, tú estabas diciendo, él, ella estaba diciendo, nosotros, nosotras estábamos diciendo, ellos, ellas estaban diciendo. Again, there's always an accent over the A for estábamos, but there's no accent on the A's in any of the other conjugations. Additional. Yo diría, tú dirías, él, ella diría, nosotros, nosotras diríamos, ellos, ellas dirían. So as you can see, it's just like how you form the future tense. You take the verb decir, you remove the C and the E just like in hacer. You take the change stem and you add whatever ending of the conditional tense that you need. Present perfect. Yo he dicho, tú has dicho, él, ella ha dicho, nosotros, nosotras hemos dicho, ellos, ellas han dicho. Imperfect. Yo decía, tú decías, él, ella decía, nosotros, nosotras decíamos, ellos, ellas decían. Pluperfect. Yo había dicho, tú habías dicho, él, ella había dicho, nosotros, nosotras habíamos dicho, ellos, ellas habían dicho. Present subjunctive. Diga, digas, diga, digamos, digan. So as you can see, it's just like how you form the present subjunctive in any other verb. For any other verb, you just take the first person form of the verb, in this case digo, you remove the O and then you add whatever ending for the present subjunctive you need. Imperfect subjunctive. Dijera, dijeras, dijera, dijéramos, dijeran. So it's just like how you form the present subjunctive. The only difference is you take the third person plural form of the verb, which is dijeron, you remove the O and N, and you add the endings for the imperfect subjunctive. Imperative, di. So like if you ask somebody to say it, you will tell them dilo, dilo. And if you ask like your mother to tell you something, you would tell her to dígamelo. Tell me it. Dígamelo. Let me write that down. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Right? Dígamelo. Tell me it. Digamos. Let's say. So like if we are making a proposition of some sort. Digamos que somos amigos. Let's say that we are friends, for example. And if you're telling someone, a group of people, to say something, you would say díganlo. Say it. Díganlo. Alright? Before we continue, I would like everyone to go back and review all the conjugations. You have to review it at least 100 times, every single conjugation. And not, that's slightly exaggerated, I'll be honest. But like, you really have to memorize these things because they're difficult to get on the first try. So, my advice is repetir como un loro. Repeat like a parrot. Repetir como un loro. See? Repeat like a parrot. So you all have to do this, and when you think you are ready, come back here and then try the exercise on your own. In the next slide, I'm going to show you guys the answers. So I hope you guys do that, and I hope this video seriously helps you all. Before I go through all of these questions, I have to give credit to ChatGPT, which made all of these questions. So if you're not using ChatGPT yet, I would highly recommend you to use it. Except for mathematics, it makes a lot of errors with that, and it could also make errors with anything, basically. So if you're confused about anything that ChatGPT tells you, I would highly recommend you research it on the internet or you consult with one of your teachers. Also, you see here this word right here. I'm not insulting anyone, so it's actually something to do with the subjunctive tense. I'll get to that in a moment. So please don't take offense to it. I'm gonna continue now. Alright, let's get started. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú ahora mismo? What are you doing right now? Ahora mismo significa right now en inglés. Ahora mismo means right now in English. Mañana yo haré el examen de español. Tomorrow I will do the Spanish exam. Alright? I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. Ayer ellos hicieron una torta grande. Yesterday they made a big cake. Mientras yo estaba haciendo la cena, mi hermana estaba haciendo la mesa. While mientras yo estaba haciendo la cena, I was making the dinner. My sister, mi hermana, estaba haciendo la mesa, was making the table. Si yo fuera tú, haría mis tareas más temprano. I need to point out that the reason why this if statement, si means if in Spanish, so this if statement here uses the imperfect subjunctive is because we're talking about a hypothetical situation that could have occurred in the past. If we were our friend and we studied earlier, we are discussing this hypothetical situation, so we're going to use si yo fuera tú. If I were you, I would do my homework, mis tareas más temprano. Nunca Tommy y Miguel han hecho tantos jabones. Tommy and Miguel have never made so many soaps. Tantos jabones. Tantos, so many jabones soaps. I should also point out that the singular form of this noun here, jabones, jabón, always has an accent over the O, but that accent over the O disappears in the plural form, okay? Cuando era niño, hacía mucho deporte. When I was a child, I used to do a lot of sport. Deporte means sport in Spanish. And we're talking about a habitual action that used to happen in the past, so we're gonna use the imperfect tense. Cuando era niño, when I was a child, I used to do, hacía mucho deporte. I used to do, so this indicates a habitual action in the past. So we're using imperfect tense. Antes de que llegaras, ya habíamos hecho muchos chocolates. Before you arrived, antes de que is one of those clauses, one of those subordinate conjunctions, antes de que, that always takes the imperfect subjunctive tense after it, alright? So this is a subordinate conjunction. That is the proper name for it. So antes de que llegaras, the imperfect subjunctive form of llegar, ya habíamos hecho, we have already done. Ya indicates, means already in Spanish basically. So like we're saying, we already did this, like ya terminé, I already finished, like I just finished. We're giving a sense that we just finished a certain action. So in this case, we're giving the sense that we just finished making all of these chocolates, right? Antes de que llegaras, ya habíamos hecho muchos chocolates. Before you arrive, we already have made a lot of chocolate. Okay. Andrew, haz tus tareas antes de salir. Andrew, haz tus tareas antes de salir. Andrew, do your homework before leaving. So antes de plus any sort of verb in the infinitive form gives the meaning of before doing, before leaving. We could replace salir here with any verb. So for example, antes de comer, before eating. Andrew, haz tus tareas antes de comer. Andrew, do your homework before leaving, before eating, I mean. Dudo que él haga la ensalada a tiempo. I doubt that he will finish the salad on time. Note that in English we are gonna say I doubt that he will do, but in Spanish it is more correct to use the present subjunctive instead of the future tense here. Please keep that in mind because we are expressing a doubt. That is what the D in weirdo stands for, doubts. So that expression, dudo que indicates that we doubt that you doubt that he will finish the salad on time. Dudo que él haga la ensalada a tiempo. Mi hermana dice que vendrá a visitarnos pronto. My sister says that she will visit us soon. Mi hermana dice, my sister says que that vendrá, she will a visitarnos, visit us pronto, soon. ¿Qué dijiste tú en la fiesta de anoche? What did you say in the party last night? Anoche means last night. So we're talking about la fiesta de anoche, last night's party, the party of last night. ¿Qué dijiste tú en la fiesta de anoche? What did you say at the party last night? Oh, okay. Si me dices la verdad, te ayudaré. If you tell me the truth, I will help you. Si me dices la verdad, te ayudaré. Note that here we are not talking about a hypothetical. We're not talking about a hypothetical situation from the past in this context. We're talking about a condition that if this guy fulfills, if he tells us the truth, we will help him. So this isn't expressing any doubts or anything that would trigger the subjunctive here. So we're gonna say si me dices, present tense of the verb decir, la verdad te ayudaré. I will help you. Si me dices la verdad, te ayudaré. If you tell me the truth, I will help you. Mis padres decían que estudie medicina. My parents told me to study medicine. Mis padres decían que estudie medicina. My parents used to tell me that I study medicine, because decían indicates a habitual action. They used to tell us oftentimes in the past that we should study medicine, and the reason why this triggers the subjunctive is because mis padres decían is a recommendation, which is what the R in our weirdos stands for, recommendations. So our parents are basically recommending us to be a doctor. Alright, mis padres decían que estudie medicina. So if we're gonna say, since this expression right here is a desire, it could also be said to be a desire, but it's more of like a recommendation, I guess. It will trigger the subjunctive, as you can see right here. Recommendations trigger the subjunctive. Él me dirá que vendría a la reunión. He will tell me that he would come to the reunion. So this isn't triggering the subjunctive or anything. He's just telling us that he would come to the reunion. So that's why we're using vendría here, because this isn't expressing any doubt. He is saying that he would, and we're taking it as a fact. So this isn't triggering the subjunctive at all. So él me dirá que vendría a la reunión. He will tell me that he would come to the reunion. ¿Cuándo es el próximo concierto de tu banda? When is the next concert of your band? Yeah, basically. When is the next concert of your band? So the reason why we're not using está here is because the date that the concert is gonna happen, that date is a fixed date, and as a fixed characteristic or attribute, it could obviously be, they could reschedule, but we're gonna take it, in Spanish they take it as a fixed time that doesn't change at all. That is a characteristic of the concert. So we're gonna use es instead of está. Mis amigos fueron muy amables conmigo. My friends were very kind with me. So we're saying that these friends were kind at a specific time in the past. Like, they weren't kind habitually, so we're not going to use the imperfect tense. We could use the imperfect tense, but in this case, we're indicating that there was a specific incident in which they were really kind to us. Maybe we got into a car accident, so they drove all the way to the accident and they helped us at that time. So we are saying that they were kind to us at that specific time. That is an action, a completed action in the past. So we're not gonna be using the verb, we're not gonna be using eran, we're not gonna be using the imperfect, we're gonna be using the normal past tense. We could use, as I said, we could use the imperfect tense, but in this specific context, since they helped us at a specific point during the car crash and that action is completed, we're gonna say that they only were kind at that specific point in the past. They were not kind habitually. If they were kind habitually, like they used to do that constantly, then we would use the imperfect tense. But here, they were kind to us only during that specific point in the car crash, and maybe after that, they were like the worst people on earth to us. So that is a completed action. They were kind at that specific point. That is why we're using the past tense specifically. I hope that clears that up. But please tell me in the comments if you're still confused or anything and how I can improve the videos in the future, right guys? So mis amigos fueron muy amables conmigo. My friends were very kind with me. Right, fueron, because we're using the verb ser here because amable is kind is a characteristic of a person. A person could be kind, that's part of their character, so that's a fixed trait that doesn't change. So we're not using estar, we're using ser. I would also like to point that out to avoid any confusion. Alright, siempre era el más alto de la clase. Siempre era el más alto de la clase. I was always the tallest of the class. In this case, this is not a specific point in time. This is not a completed action in the past. This used to be a habitual action in the past because we can't just take a growth potion and then all of a sudden one morning we're super giant and then the next day you just all of a sudden became a dwarf. You're always gonna that's part of your genetic characteristics. That doesn't change over a long period. But if that somehow gets some medicine that turned you super tall in one night, then we would use siempre fue, well, not siempre, because if we're using siempre, we would have to use the imperfect tense. So basically, I'm sorry for confusing you guys, but whenever you see the word siempre, that means a habitual action in the past, so we're gonna always use the imperfect tense here, right? Mi hermano y yo éramos traviesos desde pequeños. My brother and I were always naughty since small. So this is a habitual action in the past because desde pequeños we were naughty since we were little children. So we're gonna use the imperfect. Oh, this is supposed to be imperfect here. Hold on. I'm very sorry about that. Mi hermana y yo éramos traviesos desde pequeños. My brother and I were always naughty since small. Alright, this is a habitual action in the past. This uses the imperfect and not present perfect. That was a mistake. Sorry about that. Si no estudias, no serías un buen estudiante. If you don't study, you will not be a good student. We're using the conditional here, right? But we're not using the subjunctive again because this is not a hypothetical situation that happened in the past. We're not going to use the subjunctive. We're going to use the normal present tense form of the verb estudias and not the imperfect subjunctive form. We're using the present tense estudias because this is not a hypothetical situation that occurred in the past. Well, that could have occurred in the past. We're not making any hypotheses here. We're talking about a situation that would for a fact happen if you don't study. So that is why we're not using subjunctive. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, please share it so others may benefit from it. Like and subscribe, this will help the channel grow. And future videos will be shorter, so if you have any ideas for future videos, please leave them in the comments below, or if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. So thank you so much for watching again. I'll see you guys in the next video.